Failing's good, losing is kind of good as well, as long as you learn from what you have failed from or lost from, right?
McLaren back on top again in Formula One.
However, in this 2024 season that we've just all witnessed, there's been a lot of failures, and I think that not much of that has been learnt. By the same teams that keep doing the same shit year upon year, failing upon failing, and not learning at all. Like, how it meant to be the best sport in the world, best motorsport in the world, and still, mistakes looking like fucking F3 amateur mistakes. Half the time, I don't think teams even know what they're doing, similar to, like, what the fuck is a car doing in the air flying, you know? Good morning, beautiful people on the internet. Hope you're having a lovely day. Maybe subscribe and like if you enjoy the video. I don't know, maybe do that, and if not, cool. I love you all. Thank you for watching and enjoy it. Now, I did just say it's good to fail and it's good to learn from your mistakes. I'm not joking about it. I'm being deadly serious. However, a team that I don't think has learned from their mistakes in like the last 20 years is Alpine / Renault. They've had Alonso in Renault how many times? 3, 4 different stints, time periods, and they've lost him, well, every single time that he's went there. He's gone to a different team because he's been like, hold up, either something's not working or either I just want to go to a new environment. And that's happened, well, every time he's been to Alpine or Renault. Alpine have fucked up one way or another. In 2022, they had a deadly combination of drivers. They had Oscar Piastri as a reserve driver, Ocon and Alonso as their primary drivers. Now, that was a difficult combination on track, but on paper it was all lovely. And now fast forward 2 years, every single driver of those 3 that I just named have said goodbye and departed. Back off, you slow ass looking blue ass turtle.
You are happy now? You're happy not in Alpine anymore? In the green.
And now they're left with Gasly, who is good, probably better than Ocon, but Doohan and Paul Aron. Alright, but it's nothing compared to Alonso, Piastri and Ocon. Me saying that Alpine haven't had a bad season is like me saying that it's a good idea to get into Clemenza's car. It's not, and Alpine had an awful season looking at what Alpine is. A works team who have their own engine, who this season have said goodbye to Esteban Ocon. They've said goodbye to their engine, and they've said goodbye to pretty much everything else, except for maybe Jeremy Clarkson and Hawkstone Lager. Well, pretty much the entire first half of the season for Alpine was like an unforgettable dream. You don't want to remember it, or an unforgettable person that you spent a lot of time with. No. I don't want to bring that thought up ever again. P19, P20 in qualifying in Bahrain, awful. Points looking very, very bare and minimum. By bare and minimum, I mean niche and 0. Until you get over to Monaco when they scored a point, but that point came after the fucking treachery of whatever the fuck Esteban Ocon's dive bomb was.
Now, if I were in my car, I'd look at that space and go, well, that's too small. And then I'd go find another. But that's not what a French person would do.
I don't know what that was, but it sent him flying like one of Elon Musk's spaceships. The only difference was that, oh my god, the spaceships land on the moon or somewhere. Whereas Esteban Ocon's comes plummeting back down to the ground with a ripple effect that only a fat-ass Gorlock the Destroyer can make while stepping on the planet. They might have brought it back nearer the end of the season. Very, very well done in Brazil, P2 and P3. That is, miracles have been performed. That is like Harry Potter waving his wand around and saying Alakazam and spawning in 2 fucking trophies for Alpine, because that's pretty much what happened. Cherish that moment, because it won't happen again for a long, long, long time. With the drivers that you probably have now, it won't happen. Gasly scores some points. Ocon gets frustrated because he probably doesn't have the same car because he's leaving for Haas. And then he gets booted out of Alpine before Abu Dhabi. And I've never seen him more happy after Secret Santa. This guy's smile on his face was the biggest I've seen in the last 5 years. Happy to leave Alpine. I wonder why. I wonder why everybody's leaving Alpine. Doohan replaces Esteban Ocon for for Abu Dhabi, and the arguments are, oh my god, it's a rookie, it's a rookie. But his performance in Alpine was shocking. For his first race, it was, well, his first race, but it was shocking either way. You look at what Behrman did in his first race this season. Amazing. He literally put Yuki Tsunoda to sleep. Maybe that was the reason why Yuki didn't get the promotion, because everybody saw what Behrman did to him. Look at Colapinto's first race. It was good. It was a good first race. Whereas Doohan, who's spent the last year in the simulator with Alpine, and that's what he does. I'm not saying it was awful. I'm just comparing and contrasting to other rookies who had their first drive this season. And do I even bring up Liam Lawson last year? That was great, right? They might have somehow clutched up the season at the end, but if I was French or supported Alpine, then I would be deeply, deeply devastated in what's happening to that team. It's the opposite of the Aston Martin project. Aston Martin are trying to level themselves up. Alpine are just there for, hey, for the promo. It smiles. But it's not just Alpine who might have found certain success in certain scenarios, but also failed. Red Bull also found certain success, but also failed in my eyes of what Red Bull is capable of. They might have succeeded with Verstappen. Great fucking run, amazing championship, best championship I've seen in a while, and best performance of a driver. Well, it's Verstappen, best performance for like the last 4 years. Well done, well done. However, Red Bull failed, full stop. The team Red Bull has failed. Adrian Newey has left. Many other people have left that organization, and midway through the season, Red Bull were looking like they were plummeting more than Manchester City in football.
That's why no one did 4 Premier Leagues in a row. That's the reason why it's so difficult. Take responsibility, my friends.
Have you seen their performances recently? If you counted the points from November onwards in football in the Premier League, they'd be dead last with 4 points. And that is a team who for like the last 10 years has been dominating similarly to Verstappen. So on one side of the garage, it was perfect.
Max Verstappen wins for Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen, Max Verstappen.
On the other side, it was less so perfect. You had Sergio Perez, who I don't know why they didn't replace mid-season, or maybe at the same time they replaced Daniel Ricciardo, or maybe, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you why they didn't. Probably contract reasons, political, blah, blah, blah. We all look at the emotional standpoint of, oh my god, snap your fingers and replace someone. Oh, it's so easy. It isn't. But Red Bull, for the last 2 years, has won that Constructors' Championship. Verstappen probably did it all by himself, or he did do it all by himself last year. But this year, it was much different with the cars and everything that Red Bull had to offer. It was much, much less than last year. However, they needed 2 good drivers this year, and it's Red Bull's fault that they didn't replace Sergio Perez earlier. They finished 3rd, Verstappen won the championship. Doesn't make real sense. Sergio Perez, in the last, I don't know how many races, 10 races, probably scored around 15 points, whereas Verstappen bagged a couple hundred. Maybe replacing Sergio Perez midway through the season would have maybe made them win the championship. More points. Perez is gone, less crashes. There was one good race for Sergio Perez, and that was Baku, and he crashed. All of the other races, apart from like the first 4, were absolutely dog-shit and to forget. And if you think that Red Bull's going to be fighting for the championship next year with what happened this year, I doubt it. I really doubt it. It seems a long time ago, when over the radio for the first time I heard, hold up, papaya rules. Now, I nearly shat myself or pissed myself from the amount of laughing that was going on in my little chair when I was watching or hearing what was just occurring. If I heard that, if someone said that to me, I think I would have slapped them silly round the face, told them, you forget your medications this morning? Maybe I'll take you to the mental asylum. Because there's no way you're coming up with something papaya rules. Like, get your fucking ass life together. What the fuck are you on about? I feel like ever since that moment, McLaren just threw the championship, threw the bag away. For Lando, at least. Maybe they won the Constructors. But everything else was abysmal. Abysmal. The way they treated Lando, the way they didn't help him whatsoever, the way that... It wasn't just McLaren, it was Lando as well. But you know the story. I'm not going to delve into it because I think we've heard it one too many times that it's kind of getting sickening. However, that papaya rules. From that moment, from like Hungary, when they prioritized Oscar Piastri in certain races and not helped Lando, that's when I knew it was over. And guess what? It was over. Because Monza was shit and everything else was shit. Maybe except for Singapore, but that was one race. And apart from that, boo. Boo, boo, boo. Lando could have won, let's be real. But he didn't. So they fucked up. That's simple. And guess what? McLaren will learn from this. Lando has learned. And next year, I hope it's going to be better for both of them. McLaren and Lando. Now, kudos to McLaren for actually being able to learn from their mistakes. 2023, scored podiums, decent podiums. 2024, won the constructors. Well done. Next year, they might win the drivers, learning from their mistakes. However, a team that hasn't learned from their mistakes in the last, let me think, 15 years, is Ferrari. How are you telling me that you've screwed over Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Vettel? Shall I carry on? Shall I carry on? I don't know. You tell me. How are you telling... Oh, and Massa. They've screwed over so many drivers that it's kind of crazy. And this year, not only have they screwed over Sainz, they've screwed over Leclerc, and they screwed over the entire Ferrari community and family. I wanted a championship to be brought home, but it wasn't. And guess what? They've been second countless times in the constructors that it's kind of getting sickening to the stomach. So close, yet so far. It's mind-boggling. And it's not like they were far off. They lost the constructors in Abu Dhabi to McLaren. All it took was a couple more points. I don't know what happened to Leclerc midway through the season. Silverstone, Canada. That was abysmal. I don't know what happened to Sainz. I don't know whose real fault it was in Azerbaijan. But a couple more points and they would have clutched up. They would have been enough. But it wasn't. They also fucked up with the entire Hamilton-Sainz situation. Because for the latter stages of the season, Sainz was looking more dominant and more powerful than Leclerc. Winning dominantly in Mexico. Scoring a podium in his last ever race and just being overall the driver that Ferrari needs. A good driver who is a 10th off Leclerc. But now they're going to get Hamilton, and who knows whether he's going to be a fucking titan battling two fucking clashing together like Rosberg and Hamilton in 2016, or is he just fallen off? I don't know. I don't think he has, because if Russell's having a fucking standout stellar season and Hamilton's having a shit season and they finish, what, Hamilton's 15 points behind, then maybe he hasn't fallen off, but well, I guess time will tell. All I can say is that copium and hopium has to be consumed because it's not the greatest at the moment for everybody who likes Ferrari. Now, a team that has a bigger L plan than Fernando Alonso's entire career, because L plan, but every single L plan apart from 5-6 Renault has been a shit plan. But Williams, I believe, have a good plan for 2026 onwards. So far, they're kind of scrapping everything. It's like, hey, let's attend these races. I don't really care what's going to happen. James Vowles has said it himself. He's building up 2026 and onwards. That's when the regulations change, and that's when they can actually dominate. Maybe we'll get Prime Williams back before GTA 6 can launch. That would be great, wouldn't it? Now, although Williams doesn't care about these seasons, 23, 4, and 5, it was a failure this season. Compared to last season, it was horrible. Last season, Albon was scoring points, and although this season Albon also scored points and was robbed of Overtake of the Year, Colapinto got Overtake of the Year. However, it was still a failure. They scored 17 points, and they had 17 crashes. That is worse than maybe Nikita Mazepin's statistics in 2021. Said, if you think that any other team had any other shit performances or any other driver had just abysmal times this year, let me know in the comments and watch there, subscribe and like. Hope you have a safe, fantastic rest of the day. Love you. Please subscribe. If you don't, I don't know, that's cool, but please do. Anyway, have a safe, fantastic rest of the day. Don't die, because then you can't watch other videos. Blah, blah, blah. Repeat.
That's all, folks.